Welcome to part 3 of 3 of this helmet tutorial series. If you've watched part 1 of the series, click on the link below to do so. You will have seen how the loose kit components for this helmet are trimmed and assembled. In part 2, we build a fully detailed training helmet. In this last installment, we're building the most recognizable and complicated helmet of them all, the Red 5 helmet. The paint job on this thing is insanely detailed, so let's get going. Let's first address the visor and chin cup. Trim out your visor with either cutting shears or with a Dremel. Do the same trimming on the chin cup. The chin cup requires a length of black elastic. Use a Dremel with a cutoff wheel to cut notches at either end of the chin cup. Feed the elastic through these slots. Set this chin cup assembly aside for later. The helmet is painted flat white, sealed, and now the detail begins. Begin with applying your Waterslide decals. Cut the decals out separately and trim close to the edges of the graphics. The decals, when placed in water, will curl up. They slightly uncurl when they are ready to slide. Position each decal in the approximate location and slide the backing off. Use a wet finger to slide the graphic into perfect position. Please note, on curved surfaces such as this helmet, sometimes the decals will not lie completely flat. Solve this issue by using a razor blade to cut down the center of the folds. As the decal dries, the dissected edges may separate, but you can apply a little paint to restore an even color tone. Mix acrylic paint to match the color of the decal and apply it directly onto the surface. Apply at least 2 layers of clear coat over the decals. If you don't do this, they can be scratched off and can peel off if you're using masking tape. I cannot emphasize how important this clear coat is over the decals. Needless to say, the paint job is deluxe, but at the same time, it's all basic, just done in many colors and many layers. In this tutorial, I'm using off-the-shelf acrylic paint, but if you have the equipment, you can use an airbrush. The needed colors are red, yellow, black, and white. Mix the colors as necessary to create the crimson and gray tones. Follow the reference libraries available online to guide your way through the colors and patterns. Visit an auto supply center for some black edge trim. Apply on the edges as shown and trim to fit. If you're a subscriber to my online tutorial videos, you'll be familiar with the wash or filtering weathering process I'm fond of. Have a look at my other videos to see this explained in full. In this case, I let the paint set for about 15 minutes since this helmet is pretty heavily battle worn. This is only the first layer of weathering. You'll need to go even further. Be sure to use matte clear coat in between each weathering layer. If you don't, you'll be rubbing off the effects you've worked hard to achieve. Here, you can see an application of the stipple technique I explain in full in part 2 of the series. Remember to clear coat after each layer to protect it from being disturbed by future layers. I think the weathering is pretty much done at this point. I like to go pretty heavy on the weathering, especially if I'm working on a movie prop. The camera and lights tend to wash things out, and I typically go for high drama. These are earmuffs available from any home supply store. Disassemble them, trim them flat on the round end, paint flat black, and glue inside your helmet. Here, I'm using a trimmed piece of upholstery foam to line the interior top. You can hot glue the visor directly onto the helmet interior, or you can use a bent piece of plastic to use as a solid mount. Hot glue the entire package in place. Now we're really getting somewhere. Grab the chin cup you worked on earlier and hot glue the ends into the interior of the helmet. You can use plastic tabs at the end of the elastic and a mini parachute buckle for the strap if you want to go technical. It's all up to you how deluxe you want to go. Hot glue a length of wire for the microphone stock. Trim the microphone head, which is provided with the kit, and drill a hole at the end. A little dab of superglue will hold it in place at the end of the boom. We're pretty much done. As a detail option, you can use some old wiring and glue it to the interior of the helmet to represent the helmet interface cable. That's it for the Red 5 helmet. Great job! You could occupy yourself for years building the entire red and gold team and the compilation of all the helmets seen throughout the movies. The possibilities are endless for custom paint jobs, steampunk designs, modifications, etc. Thanks for watching this 3-part tutorial program. If you've missed any of them, click on the window links provided here. And be sure to click on the subscribe link to be notified of upcoming tutorials.